But I was like, man, I was watching other people fly past me going Ruby really fast. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? So it was a little discouraging, but at the same point, I was like, this is a business. My journey is not going to look like everybody else's journeys. And I paid $99 to own my own business. You know, if I had gone out and spent, not that I ever had that kind of money, but hundreds of thousands of dollars on a franchise, you certainly have to show up and work, and it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies. So I treated it that way, even though I wanted to go Ruby fast and it was not happening. My first paycheck was $81, and I looked at Ryan and I was like, woohoo, commissions posted. I made $81. And he's like, for the day? And I'm like, no, for the month. And he's like, oh, bless your heart. I think he laughed in my face. Like, he didn't necessarily see the long-term goal. I didn't so much at the time, but I caught it pretty quickly. I went to my first corporate event, and I was like, okay, I'm doing this. All those people look just like me. They act just like me. They walk like me. They talk like me. Maybe not necessarily exactly, but you know what I mean? They were regular, everyday people. And I'm like, oh, I can also do this. But what I want to tell you guys is that it's not always going to be easy. This is not something that's just going to fall into your lap. You have got to, if you want this business to, whether you want it to make you $500 a month or you want it to make you $30,000 a month, you can do that. But you have got to decide today that you're going to treat it like a business. If you want to treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. If you want it to pay you like a business or make you a fortune, you better buckle down today and decide you are going to treat it like a business, and you're going to go through the highs, and you're going to go through the lows, and you're going to go through the ups, and you're going to go through the downs, and you're going to remain consistent throughout all of that. So it took me 8 months to go Ruby. So kind of a journey like that to start. Well, from Ruby, something happened. I went Ruby, and boom, 2 months later, I went Diamond. I was on top of the world. I was like, oh my gosh, I just went from, 8 months of not making $500 to all of a sudden I had a comment in my paycheck 2 months after I went Ruby. I was on top of the world. I thought I was unstoppable. I mean, like I said, I wasn't a big dreamer, so I quit my job at Diamond, which, mind you, I'm not advising that because Diamond is about an average of $2,000 a month. For me back then, $2,000 a month, and some of you can probably relate, was life-shattering. Like, that was life-changing for me. So I kind of jumped the gun and I quit my jobs at that point. So then I was Diamond. I was on top of the world, and I started looking at the next goal, double Diamond, $6,000 average a month. To me, even today, I don't care how much money you make or what field you're in or what your financial status is, $6,000 a month is a ton of money. That can pay most people's everything and then some. So when I set my eyes on the next prize, which was double Diamond, I wanted to get there so bad I couldn't see straight. I was like, oh my gosh, babe, we got a comma in our paycheck. We were making about $2,000 a month. I'm like, imagine if we could be making $6,000. So I was dead set on doing it. Well, guess what? That was another journey for me. Lots of blood, sweat, and tears. I was so determined, yet it wasn't happening very fast. It took me another 11 months, so 21 months total into my journey to go double Diamond. Now, when I look back, $6,000 a month from home, from my phone, doing parties, meeting new friends in 21 months' time is pretty darn good, if you ask me. At the time, it felt like I was never going to get there, though. 11 months sitting at Diamond, watching people rocket past me, and please don't do that, by the way. Do not compare your journey, because even though it took me 21 months, I've got other people that are going to speak tonight. It took 6-7 months, and then I've seen people take even longer than that. So don't compare your journey, but understand, first of all, your journey is your journey, but it's not always going to be full of joy, and it's not going to be, it's a roller coaster. It's not just going to be a constant up climb and then you're going to stay there. It's going to go meow, 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 meow. Like when I had Diamond, I was on top of the world. Then when I couldn't get to double, I was feeling down here. Like, am I not worthy? Am I not good enough? I had doubts. I had fears. I had bad days. I had bad months. I had people laugh in my face. I had people laugh in my face from day one, so don't get me wrong. But I had so much emotion on the journey to double Diamond that it was like, it was crazy. You could ask my husband, there were times where I was bawling and thinking that this wasn't for me. And then there were times where I was praising God, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's given me this opportunity. It is going to be full of so many emotions. But if it were easy and it wasn't a climb like that, everybody would already be doing it. If you could make $30,000 a month at the job you're in now, or just by posting on Facebook a couple times, everybody would already be doing it. We would all be six-figure earners. There would be no middle class. There would be no poverty. There would be nothing. We'd all already do it. It is not always going to be easy. It is so, so, so worth it. So double diamond was 21 months. Then I went pretty quick to triple diamond. So I was back on top of the world. And let me tell you, a triple diamond paycheck is 5 figures. I had never in my lifetime seen a check like that. And you couldn't say one thing to me at that point. I went triple diamond in September of 2015. There was nothing you could say to me to tell me that this business wasn't going to work. There was not a fear in my bone in that day. Now, mind you, I think I woke up the next morning and I'm like, how am I going to maintain this triple diamond? You know, it's so emotional roller coaster this business is. And pretty quick from triple to presidential. I hit presidential in March of this year. And let me tell you what, I want ambassador so bad. I can taste it. But guess what, you guys? I've had some pretty crappy months. I'm going to be transparent and real with you guys. I have had a terrible summer, personally speaking. I have, you know, my averages where I hang my steps to success and I try to complete them every month. And I know what an average month looks like for me. And this summer has been well below average. And if you just joined and you're like, great, I joined in a crappy time. I'm not saying that. This is my journey. This is where I'm at today. The summer for me was not great. So I'm in one of those valleys currently, today speaking. But it is not going to stop me from going Ambassador Diamond. There is absolutely nothing that's going to stop me from knowing what this I already know. I've already learned it. I'm living proof. But I also know there's so much more. There's so many of you that I can help become a six-figure earner, which is in turn going to make me more money. We've got so much more room to grow. And I always, always, always thank God that I didn't quit in that 8-month journey to Ruby. Because I can tell you, I promise you, I thought I was never going to get there. Like, I just was like, my goodness, you know, people are doing this. And I had a girl on my own team do it in 39 days. And here I am 8 months trucking along, working my butt off, and it wasn't happening. What if I would have quit during that 8 months? I would still be bartending. I would still be broke. I would still be where I was 3 years ago. I am so, so, so grateful I didn't. And I hope you guys can understand what you have your hands on here. This is a lottery ticket, but you have to cash it in. You have got to put in the work. You have got to stay consistent. On the worst days, you have got to stay positive, which is so hard, and you've got to stay consistent. I'm going through a ton in my personal life right now that is not fun. Very trying time. I'm not going to get into detail, but let me tell you what, you probably don't know that because on my Facebook, I don't express that. I might say something here and there, but I'm not going to ruin this dream that I have in my hands over a few, you know, bad things going on in my personal life. You really just have to understand. And another thing is you have to understand why. Why did you join? Here's why I joined. And everybody's why is not going to be the same. I joined because I have 5 little sets of eyes looking to me every day to, Mom, can I have lunch money? Mom, my school pictures are coming. I need a haircut. I'm telling you, the 5 mouths to feed is extremely expensive. But I don't want to just feed them, and I don't want to give them a mediocre life. I want to give them the life of their dreams. And I'm not saying I want to spoil my children rotten to where they don't understand, you know, real life. But I tell you what I do want to do. I want to travel with them. I want to show them the world. I want to be able to say, yes, baby. My son texts me all the time from school. Mom, can I get an ice cream today? And the ice cream's like 75 cents. I promise you 3 years ago I would have said no. I would have had to say no. I love being able to say, of course, Taven, get 2. Buy your friend an ice cream. Like that is so, it's not about the money to me. It's about the freedom. But those 5 little miles were my why the whole time. And I tell you, there was not one person that was going to make a comment about my pyramid scheme or one person that told me those wraps are a crock that was going to make me quit and walk away and look at my 5 little sets of eyes and say, sorry, it's easier for mommy to quit than to face these negative comments or to face bad days or to face these bad months. I am going to face every challenge that's thrown at me so that I can leave these kids a legacy, not just they can get ice cream, but I'm going to leave them a legacy. They're going to have college funds. They're going to have whatever they want. Can you imagine? Like, if you're brand new and you're like, this sounds unrealistic, I understand. Trust me, my boyfriend was skeptical, my husband now. I get it, but it is the truth. But you have to decide nothing's going to stop you. Those struggles are going to happen. There's going to be blood. There's going to, maybe not physically blood, but you know what I'm saying. There's definitely going to be physical tears. I promise you that one. There's going to be sweat. There's going to be events where you don't want to go to. I mean, I can tell you personally, and I'm talking a little too long. We're trying to keep it to like 10, 15 minutes each speaker. But I've had moments where I'm like, I've got a Saturday morning, 8 o'clock event booked. And I'm thinking Friday night, oh, I hope this event gets canceled. Like, that's a terrible thing to say, but just, sometimes you just don't want to go out and put in the sweat. You just don't want to. There's days where it's like, oh man, it's raining and I want to lay in bed and watch movies. You have got to put in the work if you want to reap the reward. I have gotten out of bed so many times just dreading going to something. There's even been wrap parties, and I love to party, where I'm just like not in the mood, or I'm not feeling so hot, or I've got a sick kid. Excuses are always going to be there. You have got to drop them and put in the work in order to reap the reward. And you have to know today, whether you are brand new today or you're a few months in, there are going to be ups. There are going to be downs. There are going to be extreme highs and extreme lows. There are going to be mountains and valleys and foothills and you name it. It's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of struggles. But I promise you, if you understand that and you're ready to face them and challenge them and look them dead in the eye and say, I know this is a bad month, but I don't care. I'm going to continue working as if it's my best month ever. And you have to do that. So I'm going to turn it over to Tami Siben for a minute. She is a double diamond on my team. And one of the excuses we hear a lot in this business is, I'm too busy. So Tami's going to talk a little bit about being busy and how to incorporate this business into a busy lifestyle.
All right. My name's Tami. I joined almost a year ago, so I'm almost to my 1-year anniversary. I've known Fayre for 14 years, maybe. Yeah. I was her loyal customer for a good 2.5 years before I even had the thought to join. Wasn't my kind of thing. I own a traditional business. I bought a preschool in 2002, and I've built it from the ground up, basically. A lot of my friends that I know come from that business, and I've made a lot of contacts through there throughout the years. So I worked morning till night, 6:30 in the morning till 6:30 at night for 10 years running that business. We had a lot of debt in the school, and we had a lot going on, and it took several years before we made a profit there. So when we were finally making a profit, it was good. We were doing really well. We have a nice house. We've made some, investments, and we did well. Fayre never asked me to join the business, but I would have said no anyway because it wasn't for me. So 2.5 years in, one of my friends made a comment that she was going to join Fayre's business, and I was like, well, no, I'm going to join first, and you'll join under me, just because, I don't know. I was just being a jerk, I guess. So I joined it, and it turned out that the type of personality that I am, I'm a busybody. So this kind of thing was like actually perfect for me, and I didn't even know. So how to incorporate this into a busy life where you're already working a full-time job. I was the president of the PTA for many years, elementary school, high school, everything. I've got 2 kids and all that, same as everybody else. I'm running businesses, home life, family, everything. So how do you sit down and make time to run your business? Just that statement alone is overthinking it. And sorry, my dogs just had like a freak out. I don't know why. So instead of trying to set aside time to run this business, you need to figure out how to incorporate it into everything that you do, everywhere that you go, everyone that you see, everyone that you talk to. Instead of thinking I need to run all my errands, get my work done, pick up the kids at daycare, whatever, get home, settle in, find some time to run my business. That's kind of the wrong thinking. You need to be thinking, ooh, I get to run to the grocery store where maybe I can run into some people that I can talk to about my business. Or I get to run to the school and I'm going to volunteer here where maybe I'll run into some people that I can talk to about the business. For me, I wear a It Works shirt everywhere I go. My husband actually always wears an It Works shirt wherever we go. And it's really something that we've incorporated into our everyday lifestyle. Everyone in our town knows that we're the It Works people. So if they catch wind of it from someone else or hear about it from someone else, they're immediately thinking of me and my husband, because we are the It Works people. I'm not the only, there are other people, but we've branded ourselves in our town, and I'm making posts on Facebook, and I'm talking about products and the business a little bit here and there. But when I go out at night or out to dinner, out to a restaurant, people see me. People will approach me and ask me about things that I've posted about or about my business, just because it's my entire life. My car, I have the stickers on my window. I use the products. I talk about the products. Someone mentions that they are suffering from something, the first words out of my mouth are, oh, I have a product that, I sometimes make it a joke, because people be like, oh boy, here we go. What do you got for this? Well, actually, I do have something for this. We have something for everyone. So there's literally not a person that you can run into in your daily travels that you can't talk about a product to. We have vitamins for anybody can take a vitamin. We have the greens. Everybody's tired. Everybody's low on energy. When I pick up the kid, I drive the school bus in the afternoons to the elementary school. I always walk up to pick up the kids with a can of energy in my hand, or just my water bottle with my Works logo on it and my shirt on. And everybody that sees me or knows me knows that that's what I'm doing. So I don't really set aside a lot of time to sit down. Now that I have a team, there's got to be time when I sit down and organize, a meeting or parties and this and that. But as far as making It Works visible to all the people I know, it's just a part of my daily life. It's everything that I do. It's everywhere that I go. So that's about it. I don't know. I went fast that time. Sorry.
I'm going to expound for a minute, because Tammy's 100% right. And when I joined, I was extremely busy. I was working 2 jobs. I was going to school double full time, working on 2 degrees. And at the time I was not married. I was a single mom of 4. Ryan and I were dating, and he was very helpful, but they were by no means his, responsibility like they are now. I had to not only incorporate it into my everyday life, but I really had to make some time, especially to do like posts and things like that. I had to make it a conscious effort. So if you work full time and you're like, well, I'm having a hard time posting because I can't post at work, then you better make a conscious effort to get up a half hour early and schedule some posts, or get up a half hour early and do one, and then save another one into your notepad for lunchtime when you've got that 30-minute break, and you can grab that off your notepad and make that post. You are going to have to, although you do have to incorporate it into your everyday life. If you are working a full-time job where you're not allowed to do certain things, you are going to have to make the time. You should be always wearing shirts. And if you're new and you don't have the money for a shirt, trust me, I understand that. Take one of the Blitz cards that you got in your business builder kit, laminate it at Staples. I think they charge like 75 cents, and make a lanyard around your neck. You're going to look like Flava Flav, and people might think you're ridiculous, but guess what? They're going to notice. You can't not notice a giant Blitz card hanging around your neck. So mine's hanging from my rearview mirror. That way, every time I get out of my car, I remember to take it off and put it on before I walk into the store. Now, mind you, I wear shirts that say things all over them, so I might not always wear my Blitz card, but you better believe I do most of the time if I remember. So you have to make a conscious effort of that. Hang it around your rearview mirror. Put it on your purse. You should always, you've got to live the lifestyle. This is not a job. Nobody's going to pay you to post on Facebook from 9 to 5. This has got to become a part of your everyday routine. And if you do work a full-time job, something else you can do, if you're not allowed, somebody posted in Success Squad last night about not being allowed to talk about, not solicit at their job. So I totally understand that. Guess what? You can drink greens and you don't have to talk to anyone about it. They're going to ask you, what is that disgusting looking drink you're drinking? And you're going to be like, it's actually not disgusting. Why don't you call me later? Because you can't talk about it at work. I totally get it. You can hang a lanyard from your purse, as far as I know, because I guarantee if you hung a sports team lanyard from your purse, you wouldn't get in trouble for that. So you can hang it from your purse without soliciting. You don't have to talk about it. It's just there in case anybody wants to talk to you about it. Just like if it were a Bears lanyard and they said, oh, you're a Chicago fan? Yeah, call me later. I'll tell you my stats or whatever. I know nothing about sports. Anyways, so you can still incorporate it into your everyday life if you don't have, quote unquote, the time. You're going to have to make some time, but you can incorporate it in without breaking rules, without being weird and salesy. You can just be a normal person and incorporate it into your life. And speaking of that, I'm going to let Chelsea, I don't know why I just called you Chelsea, Shelby Sutton, she is a double diamond on my team. I'm going to let her talk to you guys about being really intentional with your time, which will also help if you're a busy person. Shelby, take it away, my friend.
Hi, guys. My name is Shelby. I just jumped on a few minutes ago, and I'm glad I did, because every time I get on these, it doesn't matter like what rank you are, how long you've been in the business, which I've been in for over 2 years now. You always learn something new. So I'm so glad that all of you guys are on, because I'm sure you're just I hope you're like scribbling notes as fast as you can. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit tonight about being super intentional with the time that you do have. And then also the difference between income producing activities and getting in the trap of just doing busy work, because there is a difference, and only the income producing activities are what's going to make you money. So first, I'll go over some examples of what income producing activities are, and then some that are not. And even though they're obvious, sometimes we blend them together and we think we're doing income producing activities when really we're not. So a couple of ones that I came up with would be calling and booking 2 vendor events, following up with at least 10 of your leads, messaging 50 people about the business, booking 2 wrap parties for the month, following up with your new loyal customers, or checking your credit card decline report, and then following up. All of those things are all things that are going to make you money with this business. Okay. So some things that are not income producing activities, and you're going to hear these things and you're going to be like, well, what the heck? You guys tell me to do these things all the time. So there's still things that you should be doing, but they're things that you should be doing outside of your income producing activities. So some of those examples would be posting on Facebook. That's very, very important, but you can't just expect to post on Facebook 3 times a day and that's all you do, and then expect to become a ambassador diamond. Ambassador diamonds don't just post 3 times a day using buffer and then boom, there they are. So you can't just simply post on social media. Still do, be consistent. Don't stop posting on social media, but you can't just rely on that. Watching a training video or listening to a conference call. It's so important to do those things, but you cannot spend your whole day going to Jocelyn Yates' YouTube and just watching her videos all day. It's going to do absolutely, you might get some confidence and you might know every tip that Jocelyn has, but unless you put those tips to use, not going to make you any money. Having a list of like all these things you have to do and trying to get through them, like ordering Blitz cards, printing out product info sheets for every single one of our products and trying to memorize all of the ingredients so that when someone asks you something, you know exactly what to say. Printing out flipping stickers every single day to put on your Blitz card, not going to make you money. So again, you need to do these types of things. You are a business owner, but these are outside of the things that you're going to do that are income producing activities. And then also the last one I have, which I think is like a huge one for all of us, or at least through me, or for me personally, is scrolling through Facebook or scrolling through Instagram and, you know, liking everybody's stuff. That's not an income producing activity. We do say like, give people love, comment, and like on their stuff, build relationships, but you can't just spend your whole day in Facebook la la land and think you're gonna, you know, become Black Diamond, because that's not how it works. So those are just kind of some examples of what is and what is not. And like I said, the ones that are not aren't necessarily things that you shouldn't be doing. It's just you need to make sure that you're very intentional and that you're doing the income producing activities first and foremost. So with that being said, we have something in this business called the 6 list, which I absolutely love. So many leaders use this and have talked about it. And what it is, it's very basic and very simple. And what it is you just create a list of 6 income producing activities that you will do every single day. And so you just make a list of those 6 things. You know, today I'm going to message 50 people. I'm going to follow up with 30 people. I'm going to message 10 people about having a party and try to get 2 on the books today. So 6 very intentional business building activities. And you're going to work through the day to get through that list. For me, I'm a list person, and it's very gratifying being able to like cross it off the list or check mark it, highlight it. I have like every color highlighter in the world, because that for me is like, yes, I did it. And if you don't get through, you know, if you're putting on your PJs and hopping in bed and you haven't gotten through that all 6 of the items, it's okay. Don't freak out. But what you would do is you would add whatever you didn't get through to your list tomorrow of 6. But you're not, so now you don't have 6. Now you have 8, because you didn't get through 2 of them from the day before. So every day you have 6 new things you're going to do. And if you have to drag some over, then drag them over. But it's best that you really knock those 6 things out each day. Another cool tip that I have learned as from other leaders that I love is a lot of times will fall in the trap. It works full time. I don't have another job, which is amazing. I have all this freedom of time. I talk about it all the time on Facebook, how I have all this freedom. But then I just like sit in my pajamas all day, and instead of like busting out a hardcore 1 or 2 hours of intentional work and working for those 2 hours and doing nothing but it works, instead I spread that 2 hours of work out over the entire day, when I could have just like busted it out in an hour, took a shower, and went, you know, out of my house instead of just like sitting in my house every day for 5 days straight in my pajamas doing little pieces of work every single day. So what this tip is, and what this thought is it's called power hours. And this is great too if you do have a job, a full-time job, or if you have kids and you're trying to balance mom life and it works life, and you have that, I don't know anything about this yet, but if you have that mom guilt where you're like, you feel like you're on your phone while you should be watching your kids playing basketball, you know, or whatever their game is, instead of doing that, just make sure that you have 1 or 2 hours of it works time that's very separate from your, you know, from the rest of the time that you're wanting to spend with your family. And if you're very intentional about it, you can seriously bust out a whole days of work in that short, you know, that 1 hour. And I was also going to say, kind of along the lines of what Fayre mentioned, is if you work full time and you're a full time mom or dad or whatever it may be, then but you're serious about this business and you understand what it takes and you see the vision, then you need to wake up early. You need to wake up an hour early. You need to you need to go to bed an hour late. Your lunch hour, if you work a full-time job, if you have a 30-minute lunch break, you need to be spending all 30 minutes following up with PLCs, PDTs, whoever. You need to be so intentional with your time. There's been so many leaders that are at the top of this company that started their business the same way you guys did, with zero extra time, but they made extra time. They woke up early. They went to bed late, So just try to implement those power hours into your day, and you know how much time you have in your day. Okay. And so I can't sit here and tell you, I can sit here and tell you wake up early, go to bed late, but you know what you're capable of every single day. So if you know you only have 1 hour each day to spend on It Works, then wake up 20 minutes early. Use your 20-minute lunch break and stay up 20 minutes late, and just make sure those 20 minutes are 100%, 110% focused on It Works only. If the kids are screaming your name, no, this is my time to work my business. This is all the time I have. So that's what I'm doing. And it's going to help balance everything out too. That was kind of my only things. Is the 6 list, I think, is so huge as far as staying organized and making sure you're focusing on income producing activities versus just busy work all the time. And then the power hour of just being so intentional with your time. And that's it.
Thank you, Shelby. That's awesome. Again, when I first started, I was super, super busy. So you have to make the time in the beginning and incorporate it into your everyday lifestyle. And there is a weird shift where if you stick with it, which I pray and hope that you do, because there's so much potential here, you will be like Shelby and I, where it's like, oh crap, it's 3:30 and I haven't showered yet. That's not very intentional. I am working so desperately hard. My number one struggle in this business is I have built the majority of my business through social media. So therefore, I love being on social media. But there's a difference between being on social media and being intentional, and being on social media and getting lost in the black hole, which is reading comments of comments and seeing who liked those comments, like random nonsense that I find myself doing sometimes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So my sister, she owns a yoga studio, and she made a post the other day, and she's like, I feel as though sometimes I get lost in Facebook, and here's what I'm going to do. Stop scrolling, Tami said. She was like, I'm going to intentionally make 20 minutes a day, go through, see as much stuff as I can. And she's my sister, so I always notice when it's her 20 minutes because she's liking everything I did that day. But I called her the other day and I'm like, how's that going? And she's like, Fayre, everything in my life has changed. My relationship is better because I'm not staring at my phone when I should be talking to my husband. My business is better because when I'm supposed to be focused on my actual business, I'm not staring at Facebook. So I've been trying to do that. And I don't know if any of you saw, but super proud of myself. I did not get on Facebook till like 1:30 today, which is crazy. I usually wake up and go, boom. So I'm trying to, when I'm on there, be intentional. Stop scrolling for hours. If you're going to be on there, great. It's a great tool, but you need to be intentionally building relationships when they're on there. High-fiving and commenting as quickly as you possibly can on as many as you possibly can, and then getting off and getting back to work on other things. All right, I could go on and on about getting lost in the black hole of Facebook, but I am going to turn it over for our last speaker this evening. Lindsay Shuman is a double diamond on my team, and she is one of the most motivating people that you will ever meet. So if you haven't been writing things down, write them down now. Hopefully you have, because we're all good speakers, but Lindsay is my go-to when I need some personal motivation. Take it away, Lindsay.
All right. Wow, I'm excited. So I wanted to talk to you guys tonight. Well, before I talk to you, I want to tell you like who I am a little bit and why why I see this business sometimes a little differently. So I've been in network marketing for 7 years. And I started with a jewelry company and switched over to It Works last August, so 1 year ago. And I immediately found success in this business because I actually know how to work network marketing. It's kind of what I do. But I'll tell you what, network marketing in the world of direct sales and network marketing, It Works is the top. And so if you are questioning whether or not you're in the right company with the right product, with the right plan, with the right money opportunity, let me just tell you that I was top 150 of my last company, and my average commission checks were about half of what I make right now. Isn't that crazy? I mean, just like let that sink in. As a double diamond, you know, your average check is between $5,000 and $6,000, and my average commission check with that last company was about $3,000. So that's just crazy. That's just totally crazy. There's nothing like It Works. I'm not even halfway to the top, and I'm making twice what I was making. So just let that sink in. So I want to teach you guys a little bit, because what I was thinking about today, because Fayre and I had this conversation the other day, and what I was thinking about, what holds people back is almost 100% fear. Almost 100%. You can categorize it however you want, but the basic underlying thing is always fear. And people say to me all the time, my family and friends aren't supporting me. What's the actual thing there? Fear of rejection. Fear of rejection. They're not feeling supported. If they say, you know what, I don't think anyone is going to try this wrap, fear of failure. So instead of like getting out there and actually trying it and seeing if it does work, they're just more afraid to fail, so they don't try. And so, I mean, I could go on and on, but you guys know your fears, and all of us are pretty much aware of what we're afraid of. People are afraid of talking to people. They're shy. They're afraid, whatever. I could go on all night. So what I want to teach you guys a little bit tonight is kind of identifying your fear maybe, and what fear actually is, and how to get rid of it and move on so that you guys can be successful. Because I know you didn't start this business to fail. I'm certain of that. In fact, I'm certain of the fact that somebody out there's story inspired you. Maybe it was mine, maybe it was Fayre's, maybe it was Tami's, maybe it was Shelby's, maybe it was somebody else's. But you saw somebody out there and you were like, wow, if she can do it, maybe I can do it. And so you took this leap of faith. But at the end of the day, it's a little bit more complicated than just posting on Facebook, like Shelby said, or Fayre said, or Tami said. You got to make it a lifestyle. And first of all, you also have to get it in your mind that you're going to succeed. So I want to teach you guys a phrase. It's so good. And actually, you could just write that down and put it on your computer, like Tami had that stop scrolling thing on her computer, which is a really good thing to put on your phone, for goodness sake. Make the background of your phone stop scrolling and get to work, okay? But if you want to kind of really give yourself like a pep talk every day, this is the quote. It's, your mind feasts on what you focus on. All right, I'll say it one more time so you can write it down. Your mind feasts on what you focus on. And if you think about it, it's so true. For instance, we used to be drowning in debt. So if you want to talk about my why, that's it. Last year, we were 3 house payments behind. 3. Okay? That's basically foreclosure, and basically they're coming for you. Okay? And I would lay in bed every night and I would think about how we didn't have the money to pay my bills, and I would get stressed to the max. I mean, it would just start to overwhelm my mind until my heart was racing and I was sweating, and I'd have to get up and I'd have to walk around and I'd have to try to process how we were going to lose everything, and they were going to take away our cars and our televisions, and people were going to come in and start taking our stuff. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but if you allow your mind to think on something and focus, it just feasts on it. It's like a buffet dinner of anxiety then, right? So it kind of works that way with the business. If someone says no to you, then the first thing you think of is, oh my gosh, they said no. Everyone's going to say no. Nobody wants these wraps. Nobody wants these products. There's too many distributors. They're too expensive. And you just start to explode with anxiety. Can I get an amen? You know what I'm saying? You know it, right? So the bottom line of this and the baseline of it all is that we are afraid to succeed almost as much as we're afraid to fail, because we don't know what success feels like. So many of us are very comfortable in this mundane, horrible existence because that's all we've ever known. And so we look at somebody like Fayre, we look at somebody like these, Ambassador Diamonds and people out there doing all these amazing things. And we're like, wow, they must have something I don't have, or I can't even imagine their life. So the first thing I want you to think of is what the power of your dream is. Like, so if you truly believe that something impossible could be possible, then it opens up your mind and you start thinking of these impossible things, like a debt-free life, or a life where you get to wake up and stay in your PJs till 3:30 if you want to, and a life where you get to drive a car that's paid off, and you get to buy a new house that's incredible with a swimming pool in the backyard, or all the dreams that you've ever had start to be fulfilled. And instantly, your whole mind starts to just expand with possibilities, and you feel hope again, right? Even as I'm saying that, and you're just thinking about this different kind of a life, something changes inside of you. So you have to start thinking about the impossible things. So I want to teach you guys a couple of things about fear real quick. And I don't want to take up all your night because I know we've been chatting for a while. So I'm going to give you a couple of quick things. First of all, this is so good, okay? Fear camps out right next to whatever your dreams are. When you are closer to your dream, your fear sounds louder. It grows, okay? And so that means that you're actually headed in the right direction. So as you're reaching out to those LCs, you're contacting that, your chicken list of distributors, and you're like feeling like so much anxiety and crazy. It's because you know that this is the step you have to take to get to a debt-free life, to get to you being at home with your babies. And really the truth is that as that happens, it starts to make you realize that you want that thing so bad that the fear is actually a response to your desire. And that's a good thing, okay? When we want something so bad, it's like when you're falling in love. You guys know what I'm talking about. Man, you just love this guy so much. Okay, my husband was the first guy that ever just totally treated me like $1 million. And the closer that I got to him, the more afraid I got. And I kept thinking, what if he leaves me? What if this isn't going to last? And I know you know how that feels, you guys, because the more that you approach a dream, the scarier it gets. And that's a good thing. We're married 13 years, he's mine. So I think that that's just like a really good analogy. So keep going, because fear, and this is the best quote, is a chihuahua that sounds a whole lot like a Doberman, but it's a chihuahua. And remember that. It's just this tiny little stupid dog with nothing to offer. It's not going to bite you. I mean, I've met some pretty mean chihuahuas, I guess, but it sounds like this big, nasty creature, but really it's just this tiny little harmless thing. And so just keep going. If you ignore the fear and you push through it, it will eventually go away, okay? Another thing is that you're going to have fear. You're going to face it. Fear is a real thing that we deal with on a daily basis. But you do not have to be afraid. You do not have to embody fear. You do not have to live in it. It does not have to control you. It is there. It's knocking on your door, but you do not have to let it live inside of you. And this is the most powerful thing I can tell you tonight. You will feel fear, but it does not have to control you. And if you are afraid of taking this jump really into your business, most people do not succeed because they never jumped, ever. It's the truth. They never face it. They never jump out and just say, whoo, I'm just giving it all I got. No, they would rather stay locked up in their comfort zone and stay afraid than they would to take a risk. And so if you choose not to allow fear to embody you and control you, you will find freedom and you will find success. I guarantee it. So don't live in fear or make it a part of your identity. All right, so this is a cool quote. In this book, it's actually in the comments. It's called You're Made for a God-Sized Dream. It's such a cool book. If you want to do like a little bit of personal development every day, which I love, to do that. Even if you're reading 3 or 4 pages of this book, it's going to fill your heart up so much. You're going to feel like you can do anything. I promise you. She's a Christian author, so just so you have a heads up on that. So this is a cool quote. Pastor Matt Newman said this, okay? When David saw how big Goliath was, he could either have said, he's too big for me to ever win, or he's too big for me to miss. And my God is even bigger than that. So he had 2 choices. So when I first saw the income chart, now this is me, but I saw that ambassador diamond only. Okay, I just told Fayre this the other day. Like, I didn't even see double diamond. I didn't even see triple diamond. I didn't even know. I just saw $32,000 a month. And I thought, if that is possible, that is too hard for me to miss. Somewhere along the line, I'm going to hit that chart. Okay, I'm going for that. And like, in that regard, I never was intimidated by struggle, because I thought, man, there are people who are doing that. And anything that I hit in between 500 and 32,000 a month would be an amazing blessing. So I am going to just get to work and not be afraid. The other thing that I saw was the strategies that those people were implementing every day. So I did that. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I did whatever they told me to do, because success follows success. You should not be reinventing the wheel. You should just be doing what people who are successful do. So these tips tonight, do this and you will find success. That's the key. So when you see something, you have 2 opportunities. Your mind feasts on what it focuses on. If David had thought, oh my gosh, Goliath is too big. He's so big. Oh my gosh, I'm just this little kid. I'm 16 years old. I'm coming up against a 9-foot man. Are you kidding me? He has armor that's his head is as big as my whole body. If he had started to let those thoughts come into his mind, he would have been defeated. There wouldn't have been a win for David that day. But instead, he said he's too big to miss. That income chart is too big for you to miss. You can do it. There is no reason why you can't, okay? It is too big to miss. That is the most money that any direct sales company is paying out, and you are in this business. You can do this. There's just no reason why not. So fear responds to truth. Tell your fear the truth, that there are women every day and men every day who are doing this business and succeeding, and you're the next one. You tell it to go, and let the fear tell you what's most important. So as you feel that fear rise up in you, know that that is the very thing you have to do, because it's important. It means that your dreams are on the line, you guys. And if I can tell you anything, take this away. You do not have to let fear control you. You can be the next great success story that we are passing around all over the internet, singing your praises, just like all the other distributors that we're sharing stories about. It'll be you standing in front of your dream house. It'll be you cutting up your credit cards. It'll be you holding your babies every single day. It'll be you who overcomes your fears and finds your future that God has destined for you this whole time. It's yours if you can overcome this fear. And know that you deserve it. You deserve it.
Woo, praise Jesus. She is amazing. I'm telling you, I have fears to this very day, you guys. I've been with this company 3 years and 2 months. I have my own fears. And when I do, I call Lindsay. I'm like, Lindsay, I'm feeling helped out. I'm feeling unworthy. Am I a bad leader? Why get what, I get them. We all get them. I still to this day get them. Moving into, I'm going to end it on this because I have a story about fears. Okay, so I just bought my dream home, which is freaking incredible, because 4 years ago, I was living in income-based housing. So 4 years later, I bought a home that is what I consider my dream. So when we were moving in, I was terrified to meet the new neighbors. And I'll tell you why I was terrified. I love people. I love to party. I love to talk. I'm not afraid of people at all. But I was terrified to move into a new neighborhood because I didn't want them to judge my line of work. I knew that they were going to see my stickers. I knew I was going to continue to wear my clothes because I'm not stopping that for anyone. But I was terrified that they were going to do the thing where they don't want to make eye contact with that new girl because she's in one of those companies. I was terrified. It sounds ridiculous because obviously I've proven that this type of company works, and being in their neighborhood should be enough proof in itself. These are people that are making very good money in my neighborhood. But I was terrified, and we got invited to a fight night. just a couple weeks after we moved in. Ryan was out working in the garage. One of the neighbors was passing by, introduced himself and said, hey, we're going to have the UFC fights down at this guy's house, at the other neighbor's house, on Saturday. You and your wife should come. And my husband's like, that's funny that you mentioned that because I'm a jiu-jitsu guy and I love fighting and blah, blah, blah. So Ryan tells me we got invited to a fight night. I instantly said, we're not going. And he's like, what do you mean? You love fights, you love people, you love parties. And I was like, I don't want to get to know these people too quickly and scare them off. And he's like, you are overthinking this. Okay, so I continued to overthink it. My fear was consuming me about what they were going to think of my line of work, which, mind you, this business is amazing. And I usually like to shout it from the rooftops. But I didn't want them to be looking at me at the community pool and saying, don't make eye contact, there's that girl. So we're getting ready to go that night. He talked me into it. I was like, okay, I'll go. And I said to him, I said, I think I'm not going to wear an It Works shirt. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I just don't want to come across too soon wrong. And he's like, okay, so what you're saying is you're not going to be yourself? Because I wear an It Works shirt every single day of my life. And he's like, so what you're saying is you're going to walk into this house full of strangers and you're not going to be yourself? And I was like, that's not fair. I used to not wear It Works clothes, you know? And he's like, you are literally terrified to tell these people who you are, the real Fayre, which is an It Works girl. And I shout it from the rooftops on social media. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I picked out the shirt with the smallest possible writing. It's the cute little black tank top that says it will change your life, but it's like this big next to a palm tree. So you really have to look at the shirt to read it versus this one that you cannot miss. So I picked out the shirt with the smallest possible writing, and I go there and I'm terrified. We get to the door and it's like music is bumping. You can hear the fights on the TV, and Ryan's ringing the doorbell and they can't hear it. The house is full. There's cars up and down the street. I'm done. I'm literally turning around and walking away. I'm like, okay, it was a good effort. I'm going home. I'm turning around, walking down the driveway, and my husband opens the door of these people's house that I've never personally met. He's met them in the driveway like once or twice. And he just starts walking in, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to the party. You going home? And I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm not leaving him there. I go in. Moral of the story, I could talk all night. These people are now some of my closest friends. I've only lived here for a couple months. They all know what I do. They all think it's amazing. Mind you, they haven't joined yet. I don't know that they will. But they're all super supportive, and they're like, that is incredible that you've done that. They've all asked questions. They've all had samples of greens given to them at this point. So the moral is that fear is always going to be there. Whether you are a brand new distributor or you're a presidential, hopefully soon to be ambassador diamond, 3 years in, it's always going to be there. Do not let it control you. You have to face it dead on and say, I know what this business can do. I'm proud of the business that I'm in, and nothing is going to stop me. So I just got see, Lindsay pumps me up. She makes me I'm all sweaty over here, and I'm ready to go talk to my neighbors right now. Thank you guys so much for joining. This wasn't so much a training as it was just to give you guys some tips on what's going to happen if it hasn't already happened or is happening in your business. We're going to be doing more of these because I truly, genuinely, I want each and every one of you to succeed. If I can do this, you can do this. And I know that there's so many people out there that believe in you. Somebody believes in you. I believe in you. You can do this. Do not give up on your dreams. Do not give up on yourself. You guys have a fantastic evening. Thank you, Fayre. Oh, thanks, Amy. I'm so glad you got on. Bye, guys. Have a good night.